live. And going, and we're live. Hey all, sorry about that. For some reason I wasn't getting the go live button, but we're here. I don't know. Liam just told me I should stop storing my acorns in here. I guess I better stop. Anyway, so how is everybody tonight? Everybody doing well? I see we got Toasty Cheesy was first in house, and we got Arnie S. Oh, and Sherlock Holmes. And hi, Graham. And yes, so today, well, first of all, how was your week? Even though you've been asked that. Oh, hi, Katie. Spiky. He's getting to be a real YouTube fan.
Don't jump on my computer, Cat. Yeah, yeah, stay away from that power button, Cat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my week was good. Slightly eventful, but good.
Hi, Lady Liberty, an advocate. You want to pop in, advocate? Drop in. Anyway, no, you can't. You can't because of my new code. Anyway. So we thought go ahead.
I was gonna say I can always forward it. I can always forward it onto Tim. I think I got it on Facebook.
Yeah, you send it to Liberty. See if he wants to pop on or not. So anyway, my week was good. It was busy and hectic. I wounded myself last week, so I took the Band-Aid off just to air it out today. But of course, I keep whacking it now. But well, all is well. So I thought today we would do custards, everything custard. And that's one of my favorites because that's all I vape most of the time is custards. And we got the king of custards here today. I thought perfect timing. We'll get him because that's all he makes is custards.
It's not everything, but it's
it's 99.9% of the shit you make is custards. Don't lie. Come on. Anyway, so we thought we'd do custards today, and you know, all things custards, and an easy custard for those people that want something really quick, which there isn't too many. Fresh has one that's fairly quick, but and unless you were lucky enough to grab a game changer, that really helps out. But even if you game change it, you still need. The census is most of us leave it for an extra week because it's not totally done really for even if you game change it. Now, if you were doing fruits and stuff, even fruits and stuff, I think I'd leave it for a week because things just change.
Yeah, I've noticed when I've been doing fruit mixes and I game changed it. 24 hours later, it's vapable, but it does still improve after a couple of days anyway.
Yeah. So if you don't have one, which I mean, I lived a long time without one, so it's nothing new. But most custards, at least, well, I would say at least 3 weeks. I don't know. What's your opinion?
Yeah, I normally give a minimum of 3 weeks first deep, but I am also quite guilty of vaping a lot of my custards fresh.
Well, yes, you like to shake and vape.
But that's just me with custards. I do actually enjoy them fresh. They do get much better though at the 3 week mark, and generally the longer you leave them, the creamier and sometimes thicker they actually get.
Yeah, which is nice. I mean, if you're gonna do custard, nobody wants a watery custard. Nobody. So anybody else in the chat a custard fan? Let us know, and maybe if you want, you can pop your favorite. If it's not private, you can pop your favorite custard recipe in, and I'll try and show it. And we'll take a look at it. But And if anybody wants help with custards, now's your time to ask, because this guy can help you. I'm a custard fan, but now I just let him make them for me. But that's pretty well all I'm vaping. Other than I have some, well, I have a favorite coffee. We'll say Coffee Love, but and a few others, but mainly Tim is just finishing up something quick and he will be in a minute. That's fine. That's cool. No rush. So let's start off. So if you were to make a very simple custard, how would you go with a simple custard? Nothing complicated, you know, for a beginner or something. How would you go with a simple custard?
It would depend on what type of custard I wanted, whether I wanted a thick custard, an eggy custard, something in between. Would depend then on what custard concentrate I would grab. But Wonder Flavors Vanilla Custard SC is very, very good. Reminds me a lot of Capella Vanilla Custard V1.
So could you do that? Could you do the Wonder Flavors Vanilla Custard all on its own?
Yeah, just throw that at. You could do that at 5%. Give that a try at 5. See what it's like. You might find it's missing some of the notes. So what I would do, I would actually, if I was going to do a really quick, simple recipe, it would be Wonder Flavors Vanilla Custard at 3%, vanilla cream extra at 1.5, and then you could actually put in a little bit of sugar cookie or a tiny bit of yellow cake if you wanted, and just leave it at that.
Oh, Lady Libert says, I would really like a good blueberry custard. Well, here's your guy, because he does blueberry custards. Go ahead.
Yeah, so for a blueberry custard, my normal go-to for blueberry is Flavor West blueberry, which is really, really good. So you could drop that in at 2.5%. Throw a little bit of FA blueberry bilberry at it at 0.75%, just to make that blueberry pop a little bit. And then you could use your favorite custard base if you've got one. If you wanted one from scratch, Wonder Flavors vanilla custard V1 at 1.5, Flavor Arts custard premium at 3, New York cheesecake by Capella at 1.5, and then your favorite Bavarian cream.
There you go, really lady. Nice, I hope you took
custard.
Notes. Hope you wrote that down.
But being as I believe Tim has probably got the VSO blueberry, you could just swap out the Flavor West blueberry and the FA bilberry and just use the VSO blueberry at your preferred percentage.
I'm not 100% sure, but I think if I'm not mistaken, maybe I think I've already suggested it to Advocate about the bilberry going with blueberry, because it makes it kind of pop a bit. But
the bilberry is a lot darker than a lot of the blueberries on the market. Adds a little bit more realism.
Almost definitely. Or didn't we do a combo once? We did and I can't remember, but the blueberry, and didn't we pop in a black currant or something somewhere with the blueberry, or no? I can't remember if we did a black currant.
Black currant would actually add a little bit of different darkness, and it would also add a little bit of juiciness to it. They're very different tastes, but you could probably use it to pop the blueberry a little bit and just push it in a slightly different direction. Still tastes really nice though.
Mando saying VSO, blueberry, and huckleberry. Yeah, that might be, because huckleberry is kind of like a different version of it's like a blueberry, but not. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it, but yeah, that would be a pretty nice recipe, blueberry. And you could probably with that recipe that you just gave, you could swap out flavors. So you could use what you just said as a base for, and then just swap out
Yeah,
flavors.
just throw in whatever fruit you wanted.
Yeah.
The other good one to use as a base is I know Creed's custard, which you just
Yeah.
so happen to have at Flavor Chaser.
Yes.
Makes a very good base for fruit custards.
Yeah.
And or you could check out my custard now. Not custard now. Now that's what I call a custard, which is just a vanilla custard. That would also make a nice plain base as well.
Yeah. Now that's a custard is I gotta tell you, it's a really good custard. Really good. Yes. Fitty says, I like FA's juicy blueberry lately. I don't have that one yet. Hi, Marshy. Hi, Fitty. And Mando. Welcome to the club.
Go on, Zeb.
No, that was it.
The Flavor Arch Juicy Blueberry doesn't sit well with me, so I don't normally recommend it. Only because of my tastes. I actually pick up some grape in it, and
Oh
I just
God.
do not get on very well at all with grapes.
I'm not a huge blueberry fan, except for you actually, because the reason why I don't care for blueberry most of the time, and I'll get to the point here, is even real blueberries. I don't get much taste from a real blueberry. Like, I don't know what everybody goes crazy for blueberries for, because I taste them and it's like, bleh, meh. But on the other hand, somebody created it's on the website, and I'm not promoting the website, but I'm just saying, if you really want a good blueberry recipe, it's called New York Blues. It's on, oh my God, now I taste blueberry in that is really good, but that's more of a cheesecake though, right?
Yeah, it's cheesecake.
Yeah. Where do you use, oh, so what percentage were, I guess is what he's asking.
I can't even see that question.
Well, no, I'm just
It
says
just
where.
popped up now.
Oh,
The juicy blueberry. I tried it at I believe I tried it about 1% and 2% when I got it from chefs for testing, and I believe that they actually used there's a very slight grape accent in there, and I believe they actually used it for the darkness and to give a little bit of a skin pop to the blueberries, which would probably work for a lot of people. It just unfortunately doesn't work for me.
yeah. I know a lot of people don't like grape. I've never really, I don't know. Grape is good. Like, I like grape jelly and I like that. And I mean, that would be good if I could create like Welch's grape jelly. That would be nice. But I've never really been interested in grape. I don't know. Just weird. One of those things that I've never dove into.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. Vaping has actually ruined me for artificial grape flavors in other stuff.
Yeah.
I
Some
used
things.
I used to have grape bubblegums, grape candies, artificially flavored grape drinks and things like that. I just can't touch them now. Since I get that off notes once I started vaping, I now get it from every single artificial vape flavor, even eating and drinking.
Well, even, okay, now here's an example. Even like, let's say lemonade. Okay, people love lemonade vapes. I love lemonade, but the thought of vaping it, because it's not going to be the same as like drinking, a lemonade.
With a lot of the lemonade vapes, I normally look for more of a homemade style lemonade as opposed to the shop bought Schweppes or the carbonated ones. It's more of a flat sweet with a little bit of sour lemon juice.
Well, it's the sour part that I don't think because when you drink a glass of lemonade, it like it actually like you almost get that real big sour note at the end.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I think it kind of goes across my head is like, it's not going to be the same. So I'm going to be disappointed. So I don't bother.
Yeah, you can get a decent tang, but getting that really strong sour is really hard to do because, of course, when we vape, we don't taste with our taste buds. We taste via our olfactory system, and the olfactory system has no sour receptors.
Yeah. So what if you could only if somebody came in and took away all your custard flavorings, which one would you beg to keep?
It would have to be premium custard.
Yeah, I kind of like that one, but I'm still kind of stuck on my Cap V1. I really still like that one.
Well, that's the thing. When I first started on the DIY journey, I could not get on with Cap V1 whatsoever.
No.
Anything above 3% was horrible burnt plastic to me. And then I think as my taste buds actually recovered from the smoking,
Yeah.
I then started experimenting a little bit more because trying to see how far exactly I could push it before I started getting that burnt plastic note. Before I know it, I'm vaping it at 10% fresh and enjoying it. So,
well, back when I started, I mean, that was basically the custard. That was the go-to custard was Cap V1.
yeah.
And then what did well TFA has the custard. They have a custard too. Yes, it is toasty. But their original custard to me wasn't that far off the Cap V1 custard.
Yeah, see the original TFA custard I find really really buttery.
Yeah,
It's
but I like
a,
that note. So
yeah, it's a lot more buttery than Cap V1.
yeah,
Hasn't quite got as much of an egg note to it.
no, that's the part. I think if you took the two of them together, they complement each other because one's got the eggy, one's got the butter.
Yeah.
So then you get it, you get the full on,
But
experience.
of course, for the unfortunate ones that actually get pepper from the
Yeah.
TFA vanillas, TFA vanilla custard one is a no go for them because it's just pepper all the way.
I know some people get the TFA from Cap and some people get oh my God. Some people get the pepper from Cap and some people get the pepper from TFA. I'll be okay, maybe. I don't know. It's debatable.
Hey, Tim.
Hey, and as far as the VSO thing, yeah, the huckleberry is like a I was listening in, but I was busy doing chores. The huckleberry is like the rich inner juicy part of the blueberry. So if you combine the two, it's kind of like you were just saying with the custards. You get a full berry flavor out of it. And it's actually better than like Zippy was saying, a real blueberry doesn't give that much flavor.
No, not to me.
Not in comparison to what you can get out of the VSO flavors.
Yeah, well, just I don't know what it is. Maybe it's like I'm kind of like the blueberry version of strawberry blind. I don't know, because it just doesn't like I go out and pick. Well, I can't pick one, but I could go get some like real ones, and it's like it tastes blah or bland or something. And I just don't get the craze for blueberry.
Once in a great while, you can get them a batch from somebody. I don't know the different varieties of blueberries, but I've had some that are pretty good and juicy, close to similar to what you get the swaggy flavors.
Yeah,
but majority of them are like you said, they're kind of blah. They don't really pull the flavor through.
not for me anyway. I don't know. Go ahead.
I think a lot of it is a difference with the real foods. A lot of it is the difference between freshly picked. So you've gone up, you've picked it straight off the bush or the tree or whatever, shoved it straight into your mouth and eaten it. You get that full explosion of flavor. Whereas if it's picked and then packed and sent off to a supermarket, you don't get quite that same flavor because of the way that they store them, because they're stored at really low temperatures, which I think probably leaches out some of that flavor you're going to get.
That could be part of it, but we pick ours fresh and still same thing.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
So I asked Liam this question: if somebody came in, and I don't know how many custard flavorings you have, but
Not many.
What?
Not many. It's something I need to work on still. That's one of the.
Well, yeah, especially now, Lady Liberty. Liam.
Well, that's because that is one of our favorites, but that's one of the ones I haven't touched because we still have a commercial that we can handle that we don't hate yet. And as soon as I do this, we're no longer going to want that, and we're no longer going to like that. So it's like I haven't touched it yet for a reason.
Well, see, you'd save money. So, Lady Liberty, of course, did not write it down as Liam was rhyming it off. So she's gonna have to watch the replay to get the recipe again.
Oh, I'm sure. Yep.
Yeah. So, or maybe maybe Liam can send it to you or something.
Yeah, I haven't worked on that custard base at all. I got to pick those up. Like
So-
Liam, you were just talking about, I'm gonna have to watch a replay because I was busy working, so I couldn't write it down. So
Okay.
That's why I've probably forgotten some of the recipe anyway, so I'd have to watch the replay too because it was just off the top of my head. So
I'm not alone. Good.
So
Cheers.
out of the custards you have, if somebody came in and tried to take them all away, which one would you hang on to?
The ones I've made,
No, the flavoring.
I would say blueberry probably. I actually
No. Okay, wait.
custard concentrate.
Concentrates?
Yeah.
Oh, you can take all
Come
mine.
on now.
All mine are like the sidewalls, the ones that aren't made, not the ones you guys are talking about. That's one of the things I haven't picked up yet.
Well,
picked up everything from Spanish rice.
you don't have a favorite custard flavoring.
No, that's what I need to figure out what one my favorite is.
Well, yes, because custards are very important,
Yeah,
and they're
that's
also based very much on your personal choice because there are so many different types of custard mixes out there.
Yeah.
And you got to figure out which one works for you. Some people do not like that eggy. Some people love it. And some people don't like it.
I'm one of the ones that loves the eggy part. The eggy, the buttery, that kind of like, if you get a nice, rich, thick custard, like, where you can stand your spoon in it, guaranteed it's buttery and eggy and the whole 9 yards. That's what I go for. And then some people like a dark custard. Like some people like a dark custard, and some people like more, I want to call it like vanilla pudding custards. Where go ahead.
I think a lot of that comes down to regional differences as well.
Definitely.
Because as I've discovered, being from the UK, the US custards to me aren't what I would consider a custard. I would consider it a pudding.
Right. And here it's kind of, you can get that, like that bird's custard here. You can get birds here, and then those are really good custards, like the heavier custards. But on the main, it's kind of like the US. You kind of like, if you went to buy a custard, it would just be kind of like a pudding.
Yeah, you haven't got anything quite like
the funny thing is,
ambrosia.
the closer you get to the center of the US, the more it's pudding. As you get more toward the south or more towards the Canadian border, that's where you see more of the actual eggy custards.
Like you can get them here. You can get the we'll call it the British version of a custard here. You just have to look a little like the birds, like that, like the birds custard.
That's powdered custard. That one normally for us, but birds is the powdered custard. Custard a lot of people seem to want is the ambrosia type that we got in the UK. I sent you a tin of it a while ago, which was a big mistake because you ate it all and you shouldn't have.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well,
I don't know
I
the
tend to
story.
like the darker ones. I tend to like the dark. I lean more to a dark custard.
Yeah, which is what the ambrosia is more like. It's a really thick, creamy, darkish custard.
Yeah, and that's more my style. I don't mind just, a normal custard, like, a lighter one, but I tend to gravitate to people that make the dark ones, yeah. Or myself. I can make a really nightmarish custard, but I haven't made one for a while. So when's advocate, when's the last time or have you not made a custard yet?
Not at a really what I would consider a true custard. I have not. That's the one of the ones that's on the to-do list soon. That's my next order list, is to get some good flavorings. And I was going to talk to probably you, really, anyway. So
Well, actually, you got him right here. Ask him, and maybe the chat would like to hear some good custard ones. So
yeah, that's one of the hard things, because every single flavor concentrate brand out there seems to have a custard. It's like strawberry. Everyone has one.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's just trying to go
but
through
if-
the ones that suit
But
you.
if you okay, so let's say, like, if we wanted your advice on what custards to buy, which ones would you recommend?
The ones I've normally got in rotation are Flavor Out Custard Premium, Cat Feed one,
Yep.
TFA V2,
Yep.
Wonder Flavors Vanilla Custard SC. Ones that I use every now and again if I want something a little bit different from the custards I normally vape, but still to me is classed as a custard, would be Mollenberry Legendary Custard.
Yeah,
which is more the ambrosia type that I was talking about. Decadent Vapors Creme Anglaise
that one's a good one.
is really good as well.
Yeah.
I've had a play around with some of the Flavora ones, the Flavora Vanilla Custard and the normal custard. Wasn't too impressed by them, to be honest. They seem to be a little bit flat. We're missing something.
Flat, and did you find it a bit watery? Like not?
Yeah, a little bit thin on the mouthfeel.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I believe that's the one I used that I have, and it was like exactly that. I actually made it sweeter, actually, and thicker with creams because I had to. It just didn't taste right.
Okay, two things. Toasty Cheesy says, I've been curious about the Cupcake World vanilla custard. And I almost forgot about this one. David Marshall says the Inawera custard.
Yeah,
that is a good one too.
Inawera is very good as well. The other ones that I reach out for, which are technically custard based, are the Inawera Creme Brulee.
Oh, the Creme Brulee. That is a divine flavor.
And Vape Train Creme Brulee.
That one's really good too. So can you have you tried the Cupcake World vanilla custard?
Just gonna have a quick check on my notes now.
Okay.
See if
we'll get you an answer, Toasty. Yeah, the Inawera custard I really like. And the Creme Brulee is just like to die for. I love those two flavors. And just so people know, Liam doesn't create the same base every time for every custard. Whatever he's going for, he changes it up. So it's never, if you look at his custard recipes, you'll find that they're all a bit different, and uses, I will do that if I'm going for, and depends on what I'm putting it with too as well. I will change up my custard. Like I will sometimes combine the TFA and the cap custard, the originals, the V1s, not the, I will combine them. Yeah, I'm kind of the same. I changed it up all the time, different ones, but
I feel like I'm going to be similar to Liam with this, because I'm going to be trying different things each time to see, because you never know what's going to work best.
Yeah, and it's one of my mixing quirks, to be honest. I don't really use bases or stones. Every recipe I do is always tailor-made. But some of it is about experimentation, just
Yeah.
to see, because you might think you might make a custard, think it's an excellent stone, which I have done. I've made one that I thought would be great to throw flavors at.
Yeah.
But then you always wonder, well, I'm always wondering, could I create something better? Now,
Right.
Exactly.
if you're using that stone, you're not necessarily trying to create something better. You're making something based the same. So
Yeah.
that I'll grab all different custards. I'll try different custards. Custards I haven't seen necessarily used together, and I'll use them together just to see what they
Yeah.
bring to the table.
And that's the great thing about DIY is like you don't have to, there's no rules. There's no
Yeah.
rules. So you can do whatever you want. You can and if it makes you happy and you really like vaping it, that's all that matters. But it's always nice to experiment and try different things. I've done all kinds of throwing this at it and that at it, and see if,
And you have these
like you
happy
said,
little mistakes that way, Zippy. You have
oh
those
Jesus, happy
that you never
mistakes.
expect it might
Yeah.
bring out make a flavor pop. I mean,
Yeah.
look at that peanut butter smoothie thing I made.
Oh God,
That
that
thing's
still
delicious
blows
after
my
it steeps.
mind.
It's
That
delicious
still
after it
blows.
steeps. It really
Yeah.
is.
But I hope you posted it.
No?
What? Damn! What the
Because
hell?
I'm
Am
debating
I
if I want
not
to
teaching?
rename it. I'm debating if I want to rename it. It's such
Well,
a
just you better post, because that is there is something for people to think about when they look at the recipe. Well, there's no peanut butter in here, but it tastes like peanut butter. You should be posting that for people to see it, because it's just like I'm still kind of blown away of what you did there.
Yeah,
Let's just
people
put it
love.
this way. That was the second thing that went in this, and it went through it, and I was gone before, and I was like, I'm out.
People love recipes like that. People are always
Yeah.
trying to create a custard without using custards, or
Yeah.
create a cola flavor without using a cola flavor.
Yeah.
But it's one of the really interesting things we can do with the artificial flavors we've got.
And exactly. And you can bend flavors just like what you did. You bent something to make something. If you didn't have a peanut butter, you created a peanut butter without the peanut butter. So, I mean, that's what this is about a lot of times. Like you can just bend stuff to make something else.
Yeah.
Which is very creative. So you better be posting that shit.
I think I did, didn't I? Or didn't I? I don't
I
remember.
don't know. I don't know.
I've checked my notes. Vanilla custard from Cupcake World, I haven't tried.
Oh no, I didn't.
Oh,
I'm doing it. I'm doing it now.
sorry, Toasty. No info on the Cupcake World.
Aw,
You'll
that's
just
sad.
have to try it. But now I know there's bad ones. Every flavor house has bad flavors. But I'm hooked on the clotted cream fudge, the vanilla fudge, and I've got a couple others I can't remember off the top of my head. And so far, so good.
Yeah, Cupcake World have got some very, very good flavors. The bonus is, of course, that they're actually pretty cheap. So even if you buy it, you don't really feel like you're wasting money because it's not that expensive.
I'm going to.
There it is, Zippy.
Okay, I'm going to show this recipe. I got to show this because it's just like I'm still like.
Swaggy was
"Huh?"
even surprised with this one. Let's just put it that way. Swaggy gave me
Okay.
props for this one.
Okay, I'll show this. I'm gonna close this. I'm going to share screen.
Because there's not just one thing that's bent here. I made the fruit out of something you wouldn't expect too. It's out of a lemonade.
Okay, so I'm going to share this if I'm sharing. This is Advocate's fruity peanut butter smoothie, and this is the secret right here. Is
Yeah, it's my
glory.
first tobacco vape too, by the way.
Yep, and people don't this is a really underrated. If you like peanuts, or that if you need a peanut note in your recipe, Glory is like heaven.
Yeah, it's a wonderful peanut.
Yep.
Yes, but as you can see, you said at 0.3. You do not want to use this high because you will lose that really authentic peanut taste. And then here's another for fruit: papaya, mango, lemonade. It's just,
As soon as I tested that for him, I was like, oh, that's got to go in a smoothie at some point. So,
but here's the note here. He used the pralines from Flora with the Glory to create a peanut butter.
Yep.
And I'm still kind of like, I've got to try this yet. I haven't tried it yet but
you got to let it steep. This one does require a steep.
Yeah.
I mean, I let it sit for like a week, and then I picked it back up. I was like, whoa, it melded so well.
I've never tried the Flavora pralines. I really like the Capella pralines and cream.
Yeah, me
I really
too.
like that one. I've never tried the Flavora one.
See, the Flavora one, I don't. For me, it kind of gave off a peanut flavor, so that's why I've been using that for my peanut base and different things anyway. But then the Glory too, that's why I got it, is because Zippy talked me into it, Zippy and Graham. So
I'll put
I
that
got it, and then
recipe
it's like, wait a minute. So I don't have peanut butters. I'm not going to be in time. So guess what? Okay, let's try this.
Now, is this public now? Okay, I'm going to.
It is public.
I'm going. Oh, it was. Okay, I'm going to put this recipe in the chat if you want to try it. Oh, that's not the one.
I was actually afraid that it wasn't going to turn out good after steep, so I didn't want to put it public until I knew.
Okay. So let me try that again.
No, I don't mind.
I'm the same way.
I'm getting that way. I wasn't that way at first, but I'm getting that way. It's like, why put it out there if it's garbage?
I steep all of my recipes for at least a month, and if they still taste really good after a month, then I'll release them.
I've got some that out the shake are delicious. They steep, they get weird. I have some that if you try them right away, they're horrible. They have to take a week or so to steep. This is one of those ones that takes a while to steep in and try and get those flavors to meld. But when it's just so interesting.
I've got one now, which is a Calapitta custard. And but it was really, really good off a shake. But I mixed this up on the 28th of August. So it's just coming up to a month now. And it's too Calapitta chow heavy for me now. So it's not what I wanted. So it won't be released. I'll go back, I'll tweak it, and then release it in about 6 months, maybe.
That's what the grasshopper I made. It's delicious off the shake. It's good for the first few days, but then it gets kind of weird and muddled after it starts to steep in.
Yeah.
And that's the important thing about I personally, this is my own thought. I don't think that there's really now. Okay, I'll have to explain this. That you shake and bake to try stuff like Liam, but you also put it aside unless you vape it all up.
I've been doing good. I even hid it for myself. The V1 of the Spanish rice, I hid it.
Well, the thing is, people think shake and vape is great, but they don't realize that you've got to find out from a steep what it actually is going to do. Because not like if you gave me a recipe and said shake and vape, I'm not going to vape it right away because I have a lot of mixes on the go and I go through them. So my personal stash of mixes is going to sit for at least 2, 3, 4 weeks before I get to it.
Yeah. One of the things I'm going to start doing is make sure I put the notes in there if it doesn't do well with steeps on any of the recipes I have to remake some of them for that reason, because it is important to know whether or not it's a shake and vape or if it's a steeper, or if it works for both.
You know,
Yeah.
that's the thing. Pure shaken vapes are great if you've got a juice that you know is going to take another week to actually steep.
You got
Shaken
something
vapes are great for that. So because you can mix it up and you can vape it straight away while your other mix is sat steeping. So if you know it's good, for a week,
Yep.
then use it for that week.
Or vice versa, if you're about to go like on a trip, or if you got a really busy week coming up, you're trying to make your liquids up ahead of time, you don't want to make a shaken vape that's going to turn after 4 or 5 days.
No.
Yeah.
So my on that about the trying a shaken vape and letting one steep. So if it was me, if I made, let's say, and a lot of my testers are, I just do 30 mils. I don't go wacko. I would take 2 bottles, divide it in half, and then try the one fresh. And if it's really good, of course, you're going to keep vaping because it's really good. But then your other one is sitting in a cupboard waiting. And then, if you wanted to do it that way.
I see.
That's too ambitious. I just say 10 mils.
I'm a lazy mixer. In when I have a mixing session, I'm not normally mixing up ADVs. I'm normally mixing up experimental recipes.
Yeah.
Because this is the reason why I call myself a lazy mixer, is because when I'm mixing up my ADVs, I'll mix up 4 or 5 liters at a time, not of the same juice, but of different juices.
Yeah.
But then I'll put those away because I know those are good. Those will be good in 6 months' time. If that they're generally good after 3 weeks, and they'll last easily 6 months, and they'll still be good. So then they'll go away in my steeping cupboard. So then I can play around with recipes then when I'm mixing. So if I had all shaken vapes, it would do my head in, because I'd have to go, oh right, I've gone through 100 ml of this now in 3 days, and I've got to sit down and mix it up again. And I don't want to be mixing the same juice every single time I sit down to mix.
Yep.
I want to be there experimenting.
Well, that's what I do. I've got my cupboard. I've got a cupboard that's all the juices that I want to vape and try, like other people's or whatever. I have that one. Then when I do testers, or I'm playing with some, I just do 30 mils. I don't add nicotine because, as we all know now, while here nicotine is retarded. We won't get into all that, but
With
I
our
just make
current
these.
tax threat, we got to worry too.
Well, you got to worry about that, but see, before here, nicotine was like 10 times the amount it was in the States.
Yep.
So I was already like for a 250 mil of 100 milligram here would be like 150 to $200.
Wow.
Like, it's retarded. Yeah, it's really, that's, and then I was always so jealous of you guys having like these big, huge sales and everything else. And it was like, fuck all. I thought, oh, I hate Americans, even though I am one.
So does it make you feel better that, if, by the way, call to action for CASA, please, if you live in the States because of this, 1 liter of 100 milligram is going to be, it'll be over 5,500 just for the base tax, and that's not the finished product, that's just for the nicotine base.
Yeah.
So that's that if that goes through, you have liquid gold in your fridge, yes, but eventually that runs out. When that's gone,
I know. I have, on that note, I have one, well, I won't call it an advantage because but being as I am a business, I can order tobacco or nicotine from the States. I can order it. But then on the other part of that, when it hits my customs, if I'm really lucky and I hold my breath the right way, it'll get through customs. If not, they're going to seize it.
Ugh. See, that's it.
So,
that chance thing. That's the reason why, like, we were just talking about this with chefs.
Yeah.
Like getting chefs to ship from overseas. They used to have the $30, $30 more orders or free shipping, and they can't do that anymore because of the seizures. and the missing.
Well, you can
packer.
still order from chefs. It's just as long as you don't order like flavorings is fine. You can order all the flavorings you want from chefs, and they will ship it to you. It comes usually by it's not Purelator, is it, Liam? It's a DHL or something. Or
Yep.
whatever.
Yeah, you used to be able to get it sent out via international Royal Mail shipping.
Yeah.
Which,
And you just
from what I'm understanding, Tim is saying now that's been stopped now because of the seizures from customs, so it has to be tracked all the way so that they know where it's gone, and then it will bounce back to them then from customs.
So the shipping costs have
sometimes.
went up significantly, and they also require insurance if you want to make sure your package gets there. So they'll resend if it gets not there.
Yeah, I always order anywhere from anywhere. Doesn't matter if I'm ordering from the States, here in Canada, whatever. I always order tracked because
Cherokee, over $1 million for a 55-gallon drum. That's taxes.
But anyway, let's the last thing I'm going to say though is we're basically now set up as Britain. All we can buy here now is 20 milligram Nick. That's it. That's all we can buy. So I was one of the few that got in there and bought myself a shitload of it so that and I won't even share it. It's staying in me with me for a while. So
this is why it's all 0 milligram testers. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I've always done that. I've always done that because the cost of nicotine here was retarded. Even back when, you could just order 100 milligram, no problem. It was still, it cost me basically, I think for 500 mil, I think it was 500 mil, still cost me $150 plus shipping.
This is the problem with the taxes going on. I mean, it's going to cost over $1 million for a 55-gallon drum. That's obviously going to be passed on to customers because they have no choice but pass that cost on. And then, of course, that cost is going to be passed on to customers. So the price of that juice has gone up anyway. And then I should imagine there will be an individual tax then on the juice that's produced. So it's almost like a double tax.
Yeah, they're multiple taxing. They're taxing at different levels.
Yeah.
So,
So anyway, let's get back to custards. We won't get into all that.
So sorry, but
no, that's all. No, that was sort of my fault. That was sort of my fault about the testing. I don't. Go ahead.
I was going to say, we haven't got wrenches, have we? Because I was going to say Tim could drop a link in chat.
Oh, wait a minute. I'll see if I can give you a wrench. Just wait. Where are you?
It's good to get those links out there on every show that we can, just so that everybody's aware, and obviously the more people that join the call to action, the more voices there are to be heard. So
so type something so I can give you a wrench. Great. Liam, type something so I can make you.
Tim's probably got all the links, so it's probably better for Tim to
I don't have the link either.
I just gave you a wrench. I got to give Liam a wrench.
Yep. Right there it is. I found it.
I'd have to scroll way back to find you. And then likely something would happen.
Hey, Cherokee, as well, by the way.
Yeah, it's good to see you. It's always good to see you. I love our family. I really do.
There you go. You should have a wrench. So try it and see if you can share something there. There are advocates on there.
I got the Twitter link to the Custards thing. Yeah. That's the call to action for that outrageous nicotine tax, and it is outrageous.
Yeah. It's really stupid.
It's trying to ban it by making it too expensive for people to buy.
It's a ban without a ban.
Yeah.
Did you try it, Liam? See if you got a wrench. Wrench me up. Yeah, see if you can post your link or whatever you were going to post and see. It should come up now.
I know. I was just wondering about the link more for Tim so he could throw his advocacy link in.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
I don't
I'm
know
wrenched.
if I'm making the freezer will last. I'm going to tell you, Juice Man, right now. I have always kept my nicotine in the freezer.
Same.
Now, I use VG. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's just my personal preference. And I've got stuff I can show you right now. I've got, this is probably, I want to say this is the free base nicotine. I also have salts too, but this has probably been in my freezer for about 5 years. So it's, yeah. So just so you know, I find, and most people will find, that they keep their nicotine in the freezer. Now, I don't know, do you, Liam?
Yeah, I've got mine in the freezer as well. I've actually had nicotine in the freezer for 4 years, and it was still good.
Yeah. So I would suggest, Juice Man, that you, yeah.
What I don't do, which I should do, I think if you're going to be keeping it long term, and you know it's a bottle that's going to be opened up and then used and then closed back up and put back in the freezer, is argon gas, I believe it is, from wine supply stores. So what you do when you open it up, you just top it off with the gas and then close the bottle up again, so that you've actually got the so you actually expel any oxygen that's in there, so you stop any oxygenation in the freezer, even though it happens really slow.
Is it the argon gas?
Yes, I believe.
And you
yes,
can
so.
get that off Amazon. But what I do when I get my nick in, what I do when I get my nick in, I've got a whole bunch of smaller bottles because it's just me. So I mean, I don't leave it in big bottles. So I break it down and I fill it basically like right as close to the top as I can get without spilling it. Put the lid on. I put them in the freezer. I put them in a dark bag, and that's it.
Yeah, what I do, I decant off 100 ml at a time. So I'll take 100 ml out, pour it into a childproof bottle, and then that goes right at the top at the back of my fridge where my little boy can't reach.
Right.
And that just sits up there then, because I found if you leave it at room temperature, I've had room temperature nicotine. Someone told me is it being sat out for 6 months and they were using it and it was fine, and I found it really really peppery.
I'm not taking the chance on that.
Yeah, no so way. I've always kept mine. My large store is in the freezer. My usable store is in the fridge.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's but okay. Now you do.
But I use PG. I use PG.
And what do you use, Tim?
PG.
And see, I'm the oddball, but I've just, it's what I started with, and it's what I stick with. I just make sure mine is VG. I just, when I take the bottle out, I shake the crap out of it.
It doesn't want to stay on
there. Yeah. No, I just like it that way because, and it's just, this is one of my quirks, is that the VG ratio is always the same. And I don't know if you find that with the PG or not, but the VG ratio, like if I make a 30, it'll be off the top of my head, 21 point something, and it's always the same no matter what. So it's just been a habit. I just stick with it. But, But anyway, so let's get back to custards now. Now that we've worn out the nicotine thing. So if you were to, if you wanted a custard, do you always flavor your custard? Like, do you make it a flavor, or do you make just a plain custard, Liam?
A plain vanilla custard.
Yeah, me too, kind of. Yeah. I don't know. I don't always want the flavors. I just want a custard. It doesn't have to be. So if you were to make, I'll ask you this, Liam, if you were to make just a plain custard, do you switch that up, or do you kind of stick to, like, what flavors would you use in a plain custard?
My plain vanilla custards are normally, They're normally switched up. The ones that IADV are the ones that are one shots now.
Oh, okay. Well, we can't give those away. But okay.
But they generally use one of 3 or 4 custards. Sometimes a mix of 2 different custards in them. They'll normally have at least 1 cream in there. Sometimes I'll use a little bit of biscuit or a little bit of cake. Most of the time I leave it off because when I have a custard, I just want a really thick, creamy custard. I don't actually want any biscuit notes or cake notes in there because then that turns
Muddles
into
it
a
up.
cake custard or biscuit custard for me, not
I-
actually the custard I want.
I always tend to use sorry, I'm gonna just I'll interrupt you for 1 second. I always tend to use, I don't know why, but sugar cookie, cap sugar cookie. I always seem to, not for the cookie, but it kind of like
Thickness,
the thickness, yeah.
texture.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, sugar cookie is really good for that, but sometimes I feel, especially if it's my own recipe and I know it's in there, I will taste it in there.
Oh, really?
I think
Yep.
some of that might very well be in my head, and it's because I know it's in there, and it then puts me off it. It's like Inawera custard. Inawera custard is absolutely delicious.
Yeah.
But I only use it in bakeries normally because it has
really?
a biscuit. It has a biscuit note to it right in the background for me, and I can pick that out in a plain custard. So I generally avoid Inawera custard in plain custards because of
Really?
that biscuit note.
Well, that there's a thought. You biscuit really affects you though. Like biscuit, like you're sensitive to the biscuit. Like
No, no,
Yeah.
I'm not sensitive to it. I just pick out the taste of it.
Yep.
oh, I see.
In
So you
certain
pick out the
flavors.
delicate notes like I do. That's
Yeah.
kind of it makes it so you kind of get an advantage over others, but it's a disadvantage when you want something because then when you make it, it's like I taste
Yeah.
something that's not supposed to be there, and you can give that to 10 people. They're probably all going to say, "Oh, I don't taste that."
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Well,
yeah.
I find too, if I get in my head, if it's in my head of what I want it to taste like, and then you add like the sugar cookie or the biscuit or whatever, it just, no, that's not what I wanted.
Yeah, what I'll also do, mind, is I love custard, so I've normally got at least a litre of plain custard sat in my cupboard, in my steeping cupboard at all times. So what I'll do, I'll make a litre of vanilla custard. If I get bored of that vanilla custard, I know that I can separate off 100 ml and just drop in a little bit of strawberry if I want it, or a little bit of blueberry, or whatever other flavor I want, I can make with that plain vanilla custard. So I never get bored of that. Whereas if I was to make a litre of strawberry custard, after a week of vaping it, I might go, no, I really don't want a strawberry custard now.
Yep.
And then I'm stuck with 900 ml of strawberry custard in my cupboard.
Yeah, that's why I never go big when I'm making anything. It's like, okay, I'm just not into this right now. And Juiceman says, I want to do a custard with Mullenberry Classic Belgian waffle.
That sounds very, very nice.
It does.
Yes. The waffle.
Oh,
No,
by the way,
I can't-
there's a guaranteed way to make sure that you're over a juice. Mix up that 1 liter. That's it.
Yeah.
You can vape it 30, 60 mils, 100 mils at a time. You're fine. You won't have any problems. The second you mix up that 1 liter, I'm not feeling this anymore.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah,
done that. I don't know how many times. And some of my own favorite recipes I've mixed, like, I don't mix by the liters, but I will mix myself like 120 or whatever. And okay.
That's why I've normally got 5 liters of different juices. It might not even be 5 1-liter bottles. It might be 3 1-liter bottles, and then the rest of it split between 250s and 500s. So I've always got a selection of flavors to vape. So if I get fed up with one, I just jump onto another flavor. But that's the other advantage of having these experimental mixes, because I've normally got between 10 and 20 of those on the go at any time. So
Yeah,
I can
go
break
ahead, sorry.
everything up with having an experimental mix as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
I tend to, if I hit that where even one of my ADVs, if I hit, oh, okay, this isn't doing it for me, I don't get rid of it. What I'll do is that I'll put it at the back of my cupboard and leave it there for a while, and then I'll go back to it some other time, because maybe your taste buds are off that time, or
Yeah, for example, in my cupboard at the moment, I've got a liter of Cocoa Mel Supreme, a
yeah.
liter of that's what I call custard, a liter of Custard 73,
Hmm.
a liter of New York Blues.
Oh yeah.
That actually sounded really good.
It's very it. Let me tell you, like I said, and I'm gonna and it's on the website. But when I tried it, it blew my mind, because I'm not, like I said, I have issues with blueberries, and the blueberry was like right there in my face, and I thought, holy shit. That's exactly what I thought. I was just like, holy shit. As a matter of fact, they gotta mix more of that.
I got 500 ml of Asgardian Tears, which is blackberry custard,
Yes, that was.
and 500 ml of something else that escapes me at the moment. But yeah, I'll rotate all the way through those. You know, I only made up the 500 ml of the blackberry custard because even though it's a really, really nice custard, I know I'll get bored of vaping that for 2 weeks,
It's that
and
bitter
then I'll
note.
switch to something else.
It's the bitter note of the blackberry. It's one of those ones you just can't continue forever. It kind of
There's no actual bitterness with this one. It's just I know because it's a fruit flavored thing. I will get bored of it. I get bored of fruit flavored things. It's
Yeah.
like if I mix up a straight fruit, I know I'm only vaping that for 3 days before I'm going back onto bakeries or custards.
I'm kind of the same. I do like, well, of course, everybody knows I'm a raspberry freak. You make raspberry and I'm all over it. But you also get to the point where, okay, I'm at my limit of raspberry, and I'll just, okay, put it aside, go back to something else. Not that I don't like the mix, I get bored a lot. So if I like vaping, I don't make big ass bottles, because I know I'm going to get bored eventually and then want something different. So I'm generally on the average, I make 60 ml bottles. It's enough that I can get to the end without getting bored, and then move on to another flavor. So
Yeah, Juice Man, I agree that Mollenberry waffle is really, really good. One of the best waffle flavors I've ever tried. And as for Magic Marker wearing off, try covering it up with clear tape, because any any juice leaks from the bottle, wipes pen and everything off. I find it with my regular bottles, I just write on them with normal pen. If I get a little bit of a leak, that ink is coming off, and I
Yeah.
can't tell what it is until I sniff it or taste it.
anyone
Well,
ever do that though? You mix up a mix and then you set down the bottle and, and you get busy, forget, and oh crap. And you taste it. That's really good, but which one is this?
I've been there before. So what I do now, as part of my prep, I get all my flavors out. I get my bottle ready, my VGPG nicotine. I write the label out. Then I tip everything into the bottle, and then I put the label on before I shake.
exactly how I do it. Exactly. I've got
I've
the
been
bottle
stung
ready.
by that.
I've got the label. What I did find today, though, because, and I think I'm going to switch, is I had to do my mixing laundry, we'll call it, and wash bottles, because I've gone down to the bottom of my drawers and decided, okay, it only took me like 2 hours, but I did discover something. Yeah. Wow. if you could see the amount of testers I got sitting here, plus the juices I make and everything else, and I toss them in a little thing and I leave them there till it's overflowing and I have nothing left, of course. So I was down washing bottles and I was using the paper labels, which don't come off very well when you're washing.
No, you gotta take them off before you wash them. If you don't, then it's not fun.
No, they don't even come off that great either. So I myself am going to, I have bigger labels for the one shots of the Dymo labels. Those just peel right off like nothing and done. I discovered today I'm not doing that shit no more with the paper labels. I'm going to buy myself a roll of the smaller ones because I don't need logos and all that shit. And they'll be for me. I can print up labels and then just pull them off. No, none of that.
Exactly what I've done before. Sitting there, which one is this? And then you got to, you're literally trying to reverse engineer your own liquid, trying to figure out which one it is.
One of the worst mistakes I did was normally when I'm sat mixing, I've also got my vape, my current juice that I'm vaping. I'll take hits on in between mixing. And I mixed up one flavor, took it off my scales to label up, got distracted, put it down on the table. I turned back to the table, picked up my juice, squirted it into my RDA, took a hit. And oh, that's neat. That's neat concentrate.
Oh, I haven't done that. I have done that thing where you're dripping and you grab the wrong bottle because you just mixed something. And I did that with the Spanish rice. I can't remember what I was vaping, but I took it and grabbed it and put it over top. Nope. That there are some things that do not mix.
Yeah, with this one, it just so happened that the amount I had left in the bottle that I was vaping was pretty much eyeballing it, the exact same amount that was in the concentrate bottle. So I had a hit of pure concentrate, and that was not pleasant. And it took ages to actually get that taste out of my RDA. I had to strip it all
Which
off.
concentrate was it? Do you remember?
Oh, it was a blend. It was a recipe that I was actually mixing up.
Oh,
So it was a blend. So I had probably in a 100 ml bottle, I had around about 10 ml.
You took like a one shot and dripped it directly on without having any PGVG yet. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that was not pleasant. So now what I do, as one of my other little quirks when I'm mixing now, my juices that I'm working on all go to the left hand side of me.
Yeah.
My vape and the current bottle that I'm vaping are on the right hand side. So now I know I cannot mix them up.
No, I line all the flavors up in the order of the recipe on this side. And I have another little table over here you can't really see, but so if it's nicotine and everything, nicotine is always first for me. That's just my quirk, always first. And then I just go down the line like this. And now my vapes are usually over here in the tank, so over in front of my laptop. So I haven't done that yet, but I have made the mistake of trusting people to finger test a concentrate. No.
David Marshall, that's what I was looking at as one of those small Dymo labels.
And they're cheap. They're cheap.
Yeah, they're like $50.
Yeah, well, the one I have is the Dymo 450, and it will print all different size labels.
Yep.
I used to have the little personal one where you just, you sit there and then it'll spit out the tape.
Yeah, that's the one I got, but I keep forgetting to buy labels for it, which is why I'm handwriting them.
Yeah, so, but after today, I thought, you know what, you're wasting hours trying to scrape off all these paper labels. I thought, you know what, to hell with it. Next time I go shopping, I'm going to get my own, like I have big wide ones for the one shots. But I'm going to buy myself a roll of the smaller ones, and then I'm just printing out my label.
Yeah, that's what I was looking into. So you do use those. So I was actually contemplating getting one of those.
It's worth it because first of all, okay, I'll take some of this back, but even if you drip a little bit of oil or mix on them, they don't totally, like, they won't run.
No.
Now, if it really soaks, I have had an experience with an order that went to chefs where some of the bottles leaked and the labels were just blank. But I find for when you're done, like, I don't know if I have one here that I can show you. I did. Oh, just a minute. Yes, I do. And this happens to be one of Liam's mixes. No, but, and I won't take it all off, but if you just grab the corner on these and then
Yeah, they just peel right off.
they
Peel off
just
nice.
peel right, they just peel right
Yeah.
off. And they don't leave sticky or
residue.
Yeah.
nothing
No,
behind.
you know, I like labels like that because I when I buy one shots, what I do, I'll peel the label off the bottle of one shot if I'm going to use that whole bottle in one mix, and then stick that label onto the bottle I'm
Yeah.
mixing into.
She wanted the 100 mil for something, and so she took the label off, put it on a 60, and put the liquid in there. So she,
And
yeah,
go ahead. Sorry, go ahead. Well, and David Marshall has a point there too. You don't buy ink for them.
No.
You
No,
don't
no,
need
not
to
for
buy
the
ink.
dymos.
they use heat, right? Heat transfer.
I'm not sure how it works because I'm not techie, but I just know I never have to buy ink. And usually the rolls come with, I know the bigger labels come in rolls of 250 labels. Well, you know, and the smaller ones, I believe it's roughly about the same. Like the shorter ones, like I don't know if I can show you. Like this is the size. If I was to print it out, like it comes. This is about the size of the larger ones.
Yeah, the only thing to watch with the dymo labels is when you're putting your VG and PG into your bottle, if you because I direct pour straight in, so
Yeah.
if you go over a little bit and you actually get a dribble down the side of the bottle, make sure that bottle is completely dry before you put the label on.
Yes.
The label might,
grease
yeah,
it.
it might stick on, but then when you go to grab that bottle in a couple of days' time or in a month's time, that label's falling off.
Yeah, what I do if I have done that before I put the label on, I usually have like you know those wipes, like the Lysol wipes or something like that, because they're full of alcohol. I just wipe off the bottle, let it dry for a few minutes, then stick the label on, and it's good to go. But yeah, the dymos are worth the money if you make a lot of juice or you know whatever.
But I picked up a really cheap, I think it was £15
Oh,
in an Aldi, and for
that's pretty good.
£15, yeah, for £15 you couldn't go wrong. I mean, they had the actual labels there as well. I think they were about £2 a packet.
Yeah.
So I ended up buying a load of those, but of course those were run out. It was on an Aldi special offer, so they haven't got them in stock anymore.
Oh
You get
no.
more, so it's a temporary thing.
Yeah, and I keep forgetting to look on Amazon to see how much they are. So
yeah, you can get you can get most of the labels, and I buy the clear ones. I wouldn't suggest buying, they do have paper ones,
no,
but I don't know really how those would peel off. But the clear ones.
Any juice spillage would wreck those labels or actually discolor them completely. They turn.
Probably just your hands over time would start to wear it off.
I don't know whether that will actually. So you get like that little grease mark from the VG.
Yeah.
And turns them almost transparent. And if you get too much on there, they actually start breaking apart the paper labels.
Yeah. Yeah. So for people that are interested, if you get a dymo, and you don't have to buy the size I got, I believe there are smaller ones. The size I got is just because I can handle the bigger labels for the one shots, but I can also swap the big tape out for the smaller tape. So I think you can even print shipping labels on that sucker. I've never tried it yet, but apparently you can.
Yeah,
See,
I know
gonna
there's
do this
one.
thing.
I
I'm gonna
know
pull it
that-
back to Custards in a second. Watch.
What's
I
that?
know there's one you can hook up to your PC to actually pull off mail labels
Well,
and everything else.
that's what mine is. Mine's hooked up to my laptop, and there's a program in there. You can store your labels. Like if you let's say you made a custard today, and like 3 or 4 months down the road you want to make that same custard, you just have to go into there and click
Print
print.
it already be in
Boom.
there.
Yeah, you don't have to do anything. Or you can type in on there. Like, it's really handy, and it just, as soon as you hit print, it sends it to the machine. Poof, done.
So Liam, what was the most unlikely in your mind before you made it? Custard that actually worked that you really enjoyed?
Mm.
Because he does do a lot of experimental, so I mean, I'm kind of curious.
Oh,
about
he does. That's all he does.
does.
He just, everything is new.
like
I
the
will
one
tell
that
you.
you didn't think was going to turn out, but then you're like, oh, I like
Well,
that.
hang on. Before he answers, I will tell you something about Liam. Liam never, he always switches everything up. It's never the same thing twice. Never.
Wasn't necessarily a custard because I haven't actually messed around too much with strange flavors with custards.
Yeah.
Because most of the time I got in my head what I want. It's generally normal stuff like salted caramel popcorn, things like that. It's like the butterscotch custards, just in general run of the mill stuff. But strangest one was probably jasmine and coconut cream.
Now we're gonna get into fucking
I will
flowers.
say strange because I would never have thought of that combo either. That just sounds.
It works really, really well. It's really nice.
Hmm.
There's
Now,
some-
is that a public recipe?
actually, I think I might have a lavender. I think I might have a lavender custard.
A
Ooh,
lavender custard?
Yeah, I'll see if I can, or creme brulee, something like that. I think. Have a look on my ELR.
It's like Swaggy's. I hadn't tried the lavender before. That blackberry lavender lemonade he made. It's good. I honestly didn't think I'd like that one.
see,
was
that
surprised.
that would just scare me away. I'd be no.
That's what I
It's okay.
thought, and I was almost tempted. I was like, okay, I'll try it. And I tried it. I was like, ooh, that's tasty. It's got that weird, like, it gives it a texture more than as much as a flavor. That lavender weirdly gives it a texture.
I've got to force myself to try some of this because flowers scare me. I don't know why. I think I vaped something. Well, not. I'll say a while ago, maybe a year ago, and it had a floral in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
Cool.
Go ahead.
Oh no, it's all right. I'm just sort of talking to myself a minute.
Okay. I did try, and it was not one of my mixes. I wasn't experimenting because I avoid the flowers, but I did try this mix, and it kind of like, okay, I'm not doing that again because the floral was a bit too high and it was in your face, and I thought, okay, I don't like this. And I
Well,
made a
I still got it.
bottle that was probably about 60 mil of it. I ended up, there was no way, and I wasn't going to try and fix it or anything else. Yep, it went down the drain because I thought there is no way. So
there you
florals
are.
kind of scare me.
Right, so I got one that I can call up on a screen share.
Okay.
Is a raspberry and lavender creme brulee.
Purple raspberry. When did I not hear about the raspberry?
I don't know. This is from 2018, so you probably did, and then you heard about the lavender and just not mixing.
You probably
that.
turned it
Yeah,
off.
flowers.
I'm not mixing that shit. That looks
Yes.
really good.
So
What happens
the-
if I leave out the lavender?
The
That's probably
lavender.
what you said the first time.
Yeah, with floral mixes, when I do floral mixes, I tend to use the actual floral as more of an accent anyway.
Yeah.
Or to bring something else out in the mix. So generally, if you leave off the floral in the recipe, you still get a tasty recipe. Just you might be
Well,
missing a slight dimension to it. It's like with this one, the FA Catalan cream has a little bit of a lemony spice note,
Oh,
which
I'm loving
works with the
lavender.
lavender. The lavender paired with the raspberries actually gives the raspberries a little bit of a wild note to them. And then, of course, you've got the vape train creme brulee, which is the main custard. Devon cream just adds a little bit of creaminess to it, and a little bit of a thicker note to it. And the holy vanilla then just gives you that really pleasant vanilla note all the way through it. So yeah, this is probably the strangest custards I've mixed up that actually worked out really, really well. It was really
I'm
tasty.
actually, I know I have a lavender. I'm willing to try that recipe, but I'm not sure. I'll have to check, and I'll do that right now. I'm not really sure if I have FA. I'm going to type it in. I'll see if I have a lavender. I don't know which one.
Do you have swaggies?
Wait a minute. Maybe I do. Hang on.
Swaggy's lavender. I mean, I'm guessing that they're gonna work similar because of the fact that raspberry and blackberry aren't that much different when it comes to that. I mean, they have a different note, but they still have that same, like it gives that same wild note in that lemonade that he made. You still get that. It's like something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
just
It gives
does-
you that like a texture to it. I don't know if that one does. Does the FA give a texture almost to it?
No, I don't have.
It's
I
really
don't
hard to
have-
describe what it does to it because you can still taste a little bit of the lavender, but it's not the it's not the underwear drawer lavender that people tend to think it is.
Granny's
or,
underpants?
or the old people's home lavender, that type of smell where people associate it with really strong perfumes or laundry detergent. You don't get that. You get a really fresh, like culinary lavender to it with little notes of lemon and everything else.
Yep.
And
So
then
I have a feeling that so that's the FA you had used.
yeah, the FA lavender. It, I don't know what it actually does to the raspberries apart from describe it as makes them taste more wild, more like wild raspberries. So it just adds this extra dimension to them. It does it to a couple of different fruits. Yeah, I've used it with blueberry as well, and it does something really wonderful with blueberries too.
Well, here we go.
Forest, it's a good forest fruit like additive.
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
what it feels like. It's not. I don't think it'll work well with bright fruits, except for lemons. I actually it would work with bright fruits. It's gonna work good with lemons.
Yeah, yeah. Lemon is one of the really good pairings to go with lavender. But yeah, it's until you try it, you don't actually. Until you try it, it's really
Yeah, my
hard
fear
to
was-
get across what it does. But yeah, with the FA lavender, it might very well be the same with the VSO. If you push it too high, you do get that really perfumey, offensive to your nostrils lavender. But
Well, I'm having issues with the computer, so I'll look it up on my phone.
yeah, if you use it at a reasonable amount, with the FA one, it's normally at 1% or under. You can actually get more of a fresh lavender. It gives you like a spring day sort of taste.
Yeah, it's a weird. It's hard to describe. It's like, I mean, I get a textural and a floral note, but it's not like it's like you said, not offensive and perfumey like I thought it was going to be. That's what my thought was when I first tried it. It's like, oh, this is gonna be horrible.
Yeah,
Apparently, I have no lavender.
that's what happens.
Oh.
That's what happens a lot of time that puts people off florals is they associate them with perfumes
And
because
if
they
they
are
have,
used a lot in perfumes.
and if
Well-
you have a liquid that tasted that way once, it's gonna really turn you off from trying
Yeah.
another one.
Well,
Yeah.
that's been my problem. Is it's not that I don't. I should retract myself. I don't hate florals. but I had a bad experience with, let's say, a couple. The latest one was about a year ago or so, Liam, when I was saying about that one mix that was like horrifying.
Yeah, it would have been about a year ago.
Yeah. And so I'm not in a rush to mix with them or try them. Like I do like the hibiscus candy by Capella. I do like that one and stuff, but
I don't really see hibiscus as a floral as such. It's more of for me, it's more of a syrupy berry type flavor with a hint of a floral.
Yeah, but if you look at a hibiscus, is actually a flower.
Yeah.
Yes.
It really is a flower. So I mean, I consider that to me a floral. I have vaped elderflower, but it was very cautiously used, so I was okay there. But they do scare me, like they do kind of freak me out. So I don't know.
And that it had that gooseberry one there. That
gooseberry.
What is it? Who makes the one? Gooseberry like champagne or wine. Super good.
Yeah.
That was actually pleasantly delicious. That's my first. Their line, trying a couple of florals through them was the first time my first experience with florals, and they did a pretty good job.
I love gooseberry. Gooseberry. It's really tasty. It's a really tasty berry. My nan used to make pies and everything with them. It was really tasty. Yeah.
And you call it, what do you call it over there?
Gooseberry.
Oh, I thought you called it something else. I thought you said Godfrey or something.
Gilbert Godfrey? No.
Yeah, no. Well, guys, we've been on here for a while, so maybe we'll wrap it up and we'll go around the table. And so, Liam, where can we find you?
Everybody probably knows where they can find me hanging out on the Vaping Community show at 11 p.m. GMT, which is 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on a Saturday. The UK e-liquid mixing show on a Wednesday at 9 p.m. GMT, which I believe is 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Well, it's 2 o'clock here, so it's probably 4 o'clock in the US. Yeah.
Yeah.
And most of the DIY places on Facebook, as well as Sheila Gomes Mixing on Instagram. And you can also grab my one shots from Flavor Chaser as well as Chef's Flavors and Twisted Imagination and Sheila Gomes.
Yes. Okay, Advocate, where can we find you?
Oh boy. First off, break the stigma with Unity Discord for anyone looking for a place to either help or be helped by someone if they're dealing with some stress issues or anything mental health related. That's first and foremost. And then my channel, Advocate for Liberty, and I do a Thursday show that's usually mental health based and a Saturday gaming show to let off steam for everybody. And that's been seeming to help quite a few people deal with a lot, release some of the stress. It's very adult. So got that going on. And then I do the What in a Horror podcast every other week with Lando, as well as DIY with Zippy on Sundays and on Tuesday nights with Meter and Larry on the Holding Down the Kitchen While Fresh is Away. So yeah, I did it.
And you can find me here on Sundays 99.9% of the time now. And actually later today, we'll be doing the Mixers Helping Mixers show at 7 p.m., which is like my 5 or something. I can't remember. You can find me on the Vaping Community with Liam on Saturday nights. And you can find me everywhere. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, everywhere on Facebook. I don't think I've got a corner to hide in on Facebook anymore, but anyway, that's where you can find me. So I'm really glad all of you guys joined me today for the show, and everybody in chat. Thank you very much for watching. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, please hit the like button and we'll go from there. Anyway, everybody have a good rest of your Sunday, and we shall see you later.
Thank you all. Bye.
And we are out.